I feel I'm a lot like most other moms, tired, a little unsure, and sometimes goofy, but there is one major difference. I'm almost totally blind. I grew up sighted just like everybody else. In the 3rd grade, I developed nearsightedness and then later astigmatism, but it was never anything that corrective lenses couldn't fix. No doctor could have ever anticipated the darkness that would come for me. Austin and I got engaged the summer after I graduated high school, and it had been a long time waiting because he was a year older than me, and we spent the last year apart, so I had no intention of being separated ever again. The months that led up to the wedding, I started getting frequent headaches. I remember carrying a bottle of Tylenol around with me, but not thinking much of it because I was under a lot of family stress, I was taking summer classes, and I was planning a wedding, so it just made sense to me that my body would be sick. But it wasn't until we were on our way back from our honeymoon that the headache just wouldn't go away. After 2 weeks, I went to see my primary care physician, but not only did she tell me there was nothing wrong, she made me feel embarrassed that I had even come in to bother her in the first place. Unfortunately, I believed her, and as my vision started to blur, I thought I just needed to get a new pair of glasses or replace the light bulbs in my house. It never occurred to me that I could be going blind. When I finally did get a doctor who would listen to me, she told me I had pseudotumor cerebri and I needed emergency surgery because I was going to be blind in 3 days. Somehow it still took the hospital 2 days to get me into the operating room. After my VP shunt was placed, my vision continued to deteriorate for about 3 more weeks, but at that point, no one could do anything anymore. Everything happened so fast, I never even saw my own wedding photos. Choosing gratitude really starts with not hanging on despair. Despair is defined as suffering minus meaning, but the thing about suffering is everybody has it. I will be blind for the rest of my life, but I'm not the only one in pain. The trick is finding the meaning in the suffering, but it can't be any meaning. It has to be God's meaning. I was surrounded by horrific medical mistakes on all fronts with my health, but that doesn't mean my life was an accident. If I hadn't lost my vision, I don't think I would have ever noticed John 9 in the way that I do now. In the story, Jesus heals a blind man on the Sabbath, and then religious mayhem ensues. It begins in verse 1. As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," said Jesus. "But this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light." I feel really privileged to have my burden mentioned specifically in the Bible. On one hand, it's really freeing because not only have I felt punished by my disability, I've had someone say it. But on the other hand, what Jesus is basically saying is, it's not about me. I don't know about the rest of you, but that's really difficult for me to swallow because it sure seems to be about me. I mean, my pain definitely is. I've had to let go of dreams I've had since I was a child. I often feel like I'm holding my husband back. And as many tears as I cry about it, I will never know what my kids look like. What purpose could this possibly serve? But when I hear that passage, it reminds me there was someone else who asked that same question. A man born blind 2,000 years ago, left to beg in the street like a dog when his family abandoned him. And this was at a time when a disability might as well have been a death sentence. What purpose could this possibly serve? But it was for me, and it was for you. God allowed the eyes of that man to be closed so the eyes of my heart could be opened. And every time I find myself on a pedestal of self-pity and self-aggrandizement, I can drag myself off, force myself back on my knees, and say to God, I choose to trust you. And I want you to use my pain for your purpose.